Welcome back to an episode of Off the Shelf. I'm your host, Anthony HD, and this week we found Off the Shelf was...
These are the armies of the night.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
And these are the warriors. They've got one way out. They've got one chance. They've got one night.
The Warriors, released in 1979, directed and co-written by Walter Hill, based on a book of the same name. This film is a action crime thriller film, and it was, it essentially, the plot follows our main gang, the Warriors, named after them, so they go to a gang meet by this very respected gang leader named Cyrus, and he wants to unite all the gangs so they can take over New York, but this other gang shoots him and kills him, and frames the Warriors and says that they did it. So the rest of the story follows them going from the Bronx through New York down to Coney Island. To Coney Island, and it just kind of, as they're doing this, getting chased down by police, other gangs, and they're overall just, like, having a big, hard time getting there since they got framed by killing this huge, respected gang leader, who also was the leader of a big, giant gang, a gang much bigger than them. And honestly, I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was very fun, and it was very short. It was only about 90 minutes, and I think the film really, as I said, like, pacing's key, right? Pacing is king with these kind of movies, and this film was perfectly paced. There was no bullshit. There was no superfluous details. There was no, like random things to just make the film longer. No. This film was perfect length, and it got right to the point. They were already at the gang meet, they were getting to the gang meet as the movie started, and the entire movie they were running, right? The entire movie was just like this long chase. Essentially, this film was like a chase movie, right? They were just getting chased the whole time. And the film was fun in that there's this baseball gang that every time I saw them, I just laughed because they were the most fucking ridiculous gang I've ever seen. Like, you know what a gang looks like, right? They're just dudes, right? They just look like, in real life, gangs are they're just dudes. Right? They just look like dudes. But obviously in this movie, it's a little exaggerated so you can tell which gang is which, and they have, like, jackets that have their name on it, like they're, like, all a fucking biker gang, and they're all, like, doing this, but the fucking, like, baseball gang, they're just a bunch of dudes dressed up as baseball players with fucking face paint on, and it reminds me of a baseball jobber wrestler from the mid-90s named the Brooklyn Brawler. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but that's what made me laugh so much. It's because they just look so stupid. Like, what kind of gang's theme is baseball? They just love baseball and they love doing crime, I guess. The Baseball Furies, I believe their name was. But yeah, they just made me laugh. And then there was a hippie gang that was just a bunch of, like, stoners, and there was, like, a lot of the gangs were also, there was, like, I think a mime gang, like a gang full of mimes. There was a gang full of, like, well-dressed suits and, like, all the same vest, and they all had fedoras on. And, like, there was just so many ridiculous gangs in this movie, and I feel like it would have been fun to create the gangs, because it's just like, you know, what's a gang we created? Oh, yes, baseball players. Like, I don't know. There are a bunch of ridiculous gangs in this movie, but by far, the baseball players, to me, are the most ridiculous ones. But also, of course, they all had bats, but talking about bats, let's get to the fight scenes. And the fight scenes were pretty plentiful in this movie, obviously, since they're being chased by all these gangs and they're fighting. I thought it was enjoyable for the most part, and that, like, you know, it was, like, action-packed. It was high octane, maybe not high octane, but it was fast-paced and, like, big like fist fights. There was like no guns. Obviously, the guys who framed the warriors, they had one gun, but everybody else had like bats and knives and stuff like that. The rest of them didn't. Nobody else really had guns, except for I guess for the cops, but the cops didn't really use their guns either. And the Lizzies also had guns. I forgot to mention that part. They fucking sucked too. It sucks that they're like the only all-women gang in the movie, and they just couldn't hit. They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be offensive here, but they just couldn't shoot anything. Or maybe the warriors are just fucking Neo level dodging at bullets. They just dodge everything. Like, come on now. They're like the thing is, what's so ridiculous is they were like standing like right there. How could you miss? They're like right there. Whatever. But yeah, they also had guns. But also, yeah, aside from those small cases, everybody else, the warriors were running, right? As I said before, they were running, and they were like running from everyone. And there was also like little small intermissions with this radio host that was like giving updates on the situation, giving the gangs updates of where they are, and updates of how successful or unsuccessful, mostly unsuccessful, obviously, like all unsuccessful actually, the gangs were at capturing or killing the warriors because they wanted them alive. But then eventually to the end, the truth is revealed by the end. But yeah, I overall really enjoyed it, and I would recommend it if you like. So if you're okay with, I mean, there's obviously one big issue some people might have is the F slur is said quite a couple times. If you don't like that, maybe steer clear. It is said by like the worst character in the movie, so maybe I think you're supposed to not like him, right? I think the character that says it, maybe there's another character that says it, but he's the one that mostly says it. He's like the worst member of the Warriors in the movie, and he gets arrested. Spoilers, by the way. I mean, it's a 40-year-old movie, but yeah, he's like the worst member, so maybe you're not supposed to like him. But yeah, if you don't want to hear the F slur, maybe steer clear. But aside from that, I very much enjoyed the film, and I would recommend it to you if you're a fan of like crime movies, action movies, like chase movies, I suppose you could call this, or thrillers. It's a bit of a thriller, and yeah, I'd totally recommend it. And I think I'd rate this film a 7.5 out of 10. Very, very enjoyable. You know what, man? It's better than 7. Very, very enjoyable, and I would recommend it. And I think I've said what I need to say. I think I've said my piece. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you'll like this video. Share, friends, subscribe, notifications on, comment down below how much you liked it. And I've been Runtime HD. Running off. Ah, shit. Did I mess it up?
Well, you did now.
Fuck!